Dune movie sounds. Oh wait, I'm not talking about that version of Dune. No folks, I am talking about a different Dune. That sand dune over there, they're very similar to each other, but not quite alike. Yeah, it's an intro. So, I'm talking about another Dune movie. No, not the new one coming out in the Christmas times. No, I'm talking about a different take on the same material from an auteur, one dearly departed Lynch. That's right, folks. David Lynch's Dune. Dune. Talk about Dune. Lynch one with the weird bullshit and the puppets and Captain Picard and Sting and an incredible codpiece and other weird bullshit. So, when it comes to Dune, you have kind of a weird situation to where Lynch's version, which came first in terms of adaptation, is kind of the abridged parody of the regular version. I swear it makes sense in context. So, for those who don't know, Mr. David Lynch got to do the first adaptation of Dune when the books were actually still kind of fresh and somewhat new. They were a production that was, let's say troubled, and Lynch got kicked out of the editing room and the studio, and producers attempted to make sense of what had been filmed and then stapled the whole thing together with voiceover and quick cuts and bringing in another actress just to talk at the camera while a space background goes around behind her. It's something. And yeah, it's weirdly a parody of the itself in terms of the material. And to be blunt, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it more than the actual series adaptation that's been coming out the last few years. Why? Well, it's not good. And which is, kind of harsh to say about David Lynch because he's held so highly. But even he knows this is his worst film, and this production basically told him from now on, or from then on, to always have final cut in anything he produced. And he did from that point. So this was at least a learning experience for Mr. Lynch. His touches are all over this thing in a very extreme way. You can kind of tell when certain directors and authors and whatnot are more interested in certain parts of the material they're adapting versus the other parts. So the first half of this thing is hitting the same beats of the more recent adaptation. The same going to Araxis, meeting the various characters and factions. Some of the same events are still occurring. The knife fight with the silly shields going on, which is incredibly goofy in this version because they're giant square blocks of early computer effects around the actors. Also, Picard is here, and he is he seems a bit unhinged. Even for Picard, this is like, oh wow, he was rough when he was young, even though he still looks old as hell, even decades earlier before he was actually old as hell. This is pre-Star Trek too, so I never expected to find a version of Picard that I very expected to knife me in the stomach if I even looked at him wrong. This version will do that, unprompted. He will just knife you in the gut. Kind of fun. Much more entertaining version of this character than the previous one. Character's name? Don't remember. But it's Picard, so I remember it. There's a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of, hey, it's that guy, or hey, it's that person from various things of the era, several of them Star Trek. And you can tell when Lynch's interest peaked up. For example, in the more recent adaptations, they kind of skip over the whole faster-than-light space travel with the spice and yada yada the navigators. Lynch made a giant, incredibly detailed and weird puppet that barfs space spice magic to do the space travel bullshittery. Yeah, he put a lot of time and effort into that cool ass puppet, and it paid off because I love that puppet. It's cool. Not completely glossed over in the more recent versions. Something else that gets a lot more attention, at least in terms of Lynch's special sauce, as it were, are the bad guys. Every single part of this version that involves the Harkonnens is hilarious and incredibly memorable. Like, the guys in the more recent version, the dude from Thor and Albino Elvis, you're trying, you look cool, you're trying, but you're not beating these guys. These ones are gross, insane, evil as hell. In the case of Sting, just coked out of his fucking gourd and wearing the most memorable codpiece ever put to film. They are the best part of the movie. They are the special sauce that this version has over the other version. So as I was saying, first half, kind of following the same events. The two adaptions are pretty similar. Then the second half happens, and this is the part that where Lynch didn't get to finish because he wasn't done yet, and the movie had gone over budget and over time, and he got kicked out of the editing booth. Thus, the entire back half is very much on speed run. Give you an example of how fast are things. You have Shawnee, the character played by Zendaya in the newer versions. You know how her romantic arc with Paul takes up about probably 2 hours worth of the film time in the newer versions? Yeah, in the Lynch version, her entire arc is taken care of in about 5 lines of dialogue and an incredibly abrupt 2-second montage thing that just covers her. She exists. She exchanges a couple lines of dialogue with Paul. They are suddenly a pair. They are fucking. That's the entirety of her arc. Her screen time is probably under 3 minutes. That's the speed we're going. That is the level of time compression we are getting in the Dune version, or that is the level of time compression we are dealing with in the David Lynch version of Dune. It's insane. Things just happen fast. Years pass in a 30-second montage. And then the ending. The ending is special. So, I guess spoilers, I suppose, for this version and for the other versions and the books, kinda, because I haven't really seen an ending or an adaptation, or specifically I haven't really seen an ending that takes such a reverse version of what actually happens in the source material since, like, Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers, great movie. Bad adaptation of the source material because Peter Verhoeven hates the source material and was making a purposeful parody of it because he hated it. It's one of the best subversive adaptions of a property ever put to film. Watch Starship Troopers; it's great. So this is the same level of that, although supposedly based via interviews with Lynch and the writer of the Dune books, Frank Herbert. Apparently Herbert completely approved of Dune's changes and his weird batshit even ending. Or at least what's in the movie. This is clearly, the back half of this film is clearly not Lynch's full intention because, again, kicked out of the editing room. So I don't know what his actual final cut would have looked like. Again, interviews from the time, he was interested in doing a director's cut version for video, and it never happened, and he never got around to it. Because he was busy with other stuff, and never happened. So we'll never know on that part. So we have with the existing ending, which is hilarious. Because, like, and spoilers, by the way, the books kind of, after a point you realize, and in the recent adaptation you realize, oh wait, Paul's the bad guy. Paul's like a Hitler. Paul is purposely taking playing a messiah figure to play this entire planet's people into believing him and fighting for him, and he eventually causes a holy war just to keep power and then to cement his power in the later books. So the Lynch ending decides, hey, you know that whole pretending to be a messiah thing? Actually completely on the money. Paul is the Messiah in the Dune version, and God just starts giving him superpowers, and he completely wins and makes it rain at the end of the movie because fuck it, let's destroy this entire desert planet ecosystem and by making it flood. I'm sure this will go well. But yeah, we completely flip the script, and he just is the Messiah in the end of that one, and it's kind of bugfuck hilarious. Also, his creepy little sister is here, and that child actress, mwah, spectacular performance, kid. All-timer creepy child performance. Good job. I assume you're an adult by now and have gotten your flowers with plenty of times over this. If you haven't, here's some flowers. You get them. Here you go. Good job, lady. Yeah, Lynch version, goofy as fuck. Probably a really piss poor adaptation of the actual material because of how abridged it is. But it's fun. I enjoy this far more than the actual serious adaptation. That probably speaks more to my taste than the average person's taste. I'm a weirdo. Thus, the weird version kind of does more for me. Who'd have thunk? You take David Lynch and you just pour his special Lynch sauce on the whole damn thing, and hey, I actually had a better time with this version. Still long, but 2 hours and some change versus 6 hours so far, and another 3-hour movie coming up that's gonna do something. It's gonna do its own thing, clearly, because I don't think they're doing the Godworm. That's a bit from the books that there's almost no way in hell they're gonna touch. I would be happy to be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I will eat a worm. A Godworm. And then I will, rule Araxis for several thousand years. It's cool. Being a Godworm is fun. You get to be a giant worm monster and be immortal. No big downside, honestly. Except for the being a worm part. I have to think on this. While I think on this, subscribe to my Patreon. Pay me to draw porn. Pay me to do more of this bullshittery. Pay me to get in my fursuit. So on and so forth. Yada yada yada. Bing a bagaboo. I'm gonna take a poop in this giant litter box. Bye. Go away now. I want my privacy while I take a shit. Get.